You've been part of talks between government, Labour, and yourselves as governors of Nigeria's states. The media, some media says the talks are fruitful. Other media says the talks are deadlocked. What's the real situation?
I don't think it was deadlocked. The discussion was that they needed to get more, they needed to expand the mandate they had from their National Executive Council, which we hold tomorrow morning, after which we'll meet with them again tomorrow evening. So I would consider that a deadlock.
All right, what exactly is being put on the table in terms of compromises? It's reported that the government is considering going back to the price of fuel at 65 naira, and then around April withdrawing about 80% of the subsidy and then taking a more measured approach.
No, I think that would compromise the negotiation. Not much was discussed of the issues. When we discovered they didn't have a very broad mandate, we had to say they should go and get a broad mandate. No, those are speculations by the papers. Nothing was put on the table clearly for outside discussion. So you can't say right away whether we are going to go back to 65 or not.
Right.
Those are speculations. We can only get the correct proposals when we meet tomorrow night.
Now, Governor, give us a sense of how seriously government is responding to this industrial action, because we're told that on Sunday, the oil and gas labor unions made down tools. Now, that's going to have serious ramifications for a critical part of the economy and even the global economy. Yeah,
but we believe that by tomorrow, we'll be able to resolve our differences, and we may not get to that point. And once we resolve our differences, we expect that the Pengasen, which is a union in charge of the senior staff of the oil industry, and probably the NUPENG, would not go as far as shutting down the oil sector.
Okay, let's just talk about innovations going forward, because I know that you're a bit cagey about what actually is on the table. Let's talk about you as Governor of Rivers State, because there you've also embarked on your own independent measures. It's reported, for instance, that you've negotiated with oil marketers to take the price down to 137 naira, and thereafter the state government will cover some of those extra costs. Just give us a sense of how you are handling the situation on the ground and maybe lessons for others to learn.
The position of government in Rivers State is not to subsidize. What we rather did was to say that in view of the fact that about 4 naira per liter are extra charges that were unnecessary, and the claim is that these are taxation by government and all other agencies that do not possess the legal power to tax the marketers. As Governor of Rivers State, I therefore eliminated those taxes, which amounted to 4 naira, which they transferred to the consumers, and then promised that to ensure that nobody collected an illegal tax, the Rivers State government would afford to fund the purchase of the petroleum for Rivers State, after which they would buy at cost. And what is the cost? The cost is 129 naira, and then when you add transportation, which is haulage, and that is about 4 naira, and then you add their profit, which is 5 naira, you come to 137. So all that Rivers State government did was to eliminate the unnecessary charges which they transfer to the consumers.
And affordability for other states, for instance, because granted, you know, Rivers State has the means. You are actually the epicenter of the oil and gas industry. Lagos is the industrial hub of the country. What about smaller states? Once there's a full withdrawal of a subsidy, how do they cope with dealing with the civic pressures on the ground, dealing with public financing, resources that are needed? Because on top of this issue are other issues like the introduction of a minimum wage. So there's a lot of things that have just happened in Nigeria in a short space of time.
Yeah, well, we must be prepared to make some of these sacrifices. We have lived a lot on virtually subsidy, on virtually everything. And Labour has also put pressure on government on different issues. Now, you know that in the space of 1 year, we have increased wages twice. And most states are not able to bear that cost. Now, again, we have come to realize that if the economy continues to run the way it is running currently, then the naira would collapse completely and the economy will also collapse. If we have to sustain the economy and grow the economy and allow for creation of employment, which is the albatross of the Nigerian economy, then we must completely deregulate. And when we deregulate, the management of the resources of deregulation will therefore create employment. We also believe that the moment you deregulate, then investors will come in the oil sector to establish refineries, which will then create employment, create competition, and reduce the cost of fuel.
Finally, Governor, have you and your team and your colleagues really calculated the full political costs if things fall apart? We've already heard, for instance, that there is the option of calling for the impeachment of the president. Some people are saying this is the start of a major revolution in Nigeria, an Arab Spring. If this doesn't work out, things are not going to look good for Nigeria. Things are not going to look good for a lot of people's political careers.
Lerato, I can assure you that you can smile as much as you would wish. Nigeria would never get to that point. Nigeria would not get to the point of impeachment because first the president has to commit an impeachable offense. We are a government, we are a country of rule of law. We have a constitution. Nobody can just wake up on the floor of the house and impeach a president that has committed no impeachable offense. So I can assure you we won't get there. Whether we will pass through these kind of challenges or not, yes, we will. We must make sacrifices if we have to improve and grow the economy. Are we going to get to the Arab Spring? The answer again will be no. Why are we not going to get there? The Nigerian state is a multi-ethnic state, and the political cost for such a revolution will outweigh the benefits of such a revolution. What will happen, therefore, is that the Nigerian government will accept responsibility of improving the economy, creating employment, creating infrastructure, and ensure that power will be in the country, and there will be changes. I plead with Nigerians to be patient. They be patient with the present government and see in the next 1 year if there are no changes. Then they can come up with whatever they think best.